Welcome back to another episode. We're going to take a closer look at Nvidia. The stock continues to kind of be in this stalemate. We are going to look at some recent news impacting the overall company from insider sales, some maybe negative news from analysts, and some other news impacting the overall stock. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so the stock was down roughly 2% today, and it ended the day at roughly $125.83. Before I go out and before I continue, I do want to say happy 4th of July to everybody that celebrated. And right now, I do believe for Nvidia, we're going to continue in this trend where the stock really isn't going to give us much movement until earnings. I don't believe there's any crazy catalyst events until we have earnings. Maybe not just Nvidia earnings, but obviously earnings are going to be coming out in the upcoming months, in the upcoming weeks, especially. So we're going to have to wait, in my opinion, for data center companies to report earnings, as they're going to tell us a little bit more about their capex. I think investors are worried about maybe, hey, is there going to be a slowdown? Are they going to be increasing? So investors are going to be keeping a closer eye on that. The other thing is other semiconductor companies do report earnings a lot earlier than Nvidia. So maybe those that are dealing in the AI space might provide us with some form of maybe insight of what to expect for Nvidia's earnings later in August. So for me, Nvidia is going to be quiet for at least the next few weeks until we start to get earnings. All right, so next I want to take a closer look at some insider activity. We can see that the CEO of Nvidia, Jensen Huang, has been selling shares for a while now. And this is a topic that we definitely have discussed in the past, but most recently at the end of June and early July, he has continued to sell shares. It is important though to understand that the amount of shares that he is selling is not a huge amount compared to its total positions. For example, in these past 5 sales, it's been about 120,000 each time. So that's about 600,000 shares that he sold in this past few weeks. Now the Jensen Huang has roughly 80 million, well now 79 million shares of Nvidia. So the amount that he's selling is very small, but it does kind of give us this reminder that, hey, look, maybe if we do have overexposure to Nvidia, it's not necessarily the worst idea to maybe take some of the money out, maybe lock in some gains. Again, I don't see this as bearish, but like I mentioned, it could be a reminder or kind of give us an idea of what we can do as investors.
Before we go any further, we are now on the road to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you all for the crazy support. So if you haven't and are enjoying the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. Finally, if you want to support the channel a little bit more, make sure to check out my special offer at fool.com/Jose. Now back to today's episode.
The second kind of bearish sentiment impacting Nvidia today was we did get a really rare Wall Street downgrade on valuation concerns. And the company is the analysts were from New Street Research, and they're kind of saying that, hey, look, right now they downgraded Nvidia to a neutral from a buy because they do believe that there's not going to be much growth, and all the growth is really in the bull case. In the bull case, obviously almost everything has to go right, in which the outlook beyond 2025 increases materially, and they do not have the conviction on this scenario playing out just yet because they don't see what would be that big catalyst of what everybody is already expecting, right? I think most investors are already expecting a huge growth rate for Nvidia to continue into data center market. And I want to say I kind of agree to maybe some extent that, hey, look, obviously it's not going to grow as fast as it has in the past. I think right now, while Nvidia is not priced to perfection, there needs to go, a lot of things need to go right for it to continue in this nice bullish trend. The stock, I mean, in the past 5 years is up over 3,000%. So congratulations to all us Nvidia shareholders holders who have been holding for even 5 years, right? That's such an insane short amount of time for a stock to go up 3,000%. I am long-term bullish in Nvidia, but I do believe that right now there's might be a little bit too excitement. So a correction is not necessarily something that I would say is impossible. But if one is looking for something that can really impact the overall growth for Nvidia, that could be a very, very nice tailwind that no one is talking about, is the Chinese market. And I want to say most analysts have been probably erasing the growth potential of the Chinese market because, as we know, Nvidia can't send their top AI chip to China. They have to send down a weaker version. And because of that, competitors are able to really, in the Chinese market, are able to maybe take market shares. Well, according to a recent report from Financial Times citing semi-analysis, that Nvidia will sell over 1 million H20 GPUs in China with an average price of $12,000 per chip, which is closer to $12 billion in revenue from the Chinese market. So I do believe this is going to go really well, and this could be one of the big tailwinds that can obviously affect the overall stock price in the future because, like I mentioned, most analysts are expecting the Chinese space to be pretty weak for Nvidia. And now listening to this is something that's getting me more and more excited about earnings. Some other things that we do hear from this article or report is that while Nvidia's GPU might seem weaker than competitors out there, we know Huawei has their Exynos 910B, which everybody's talking about and saying that it's the best chip in China. Based on these analysis notes, is the H20 is actually a way better GPU from the whole infrastructure, software, connectivity, and everything, memory, and everything else that Nvidia provides. So it just showcases that even a weaker down version of Nvidia is still way better than anything China can make right now. So I think that just kind of showcased the overall bullish and amazing trend of Nvidia's solutions. Now, the final thing I want to take a closer look at are two companies that did really well this week. We have AMD sitting at $172. In the past 5 days, the stock is up nearly 7%, but we can see the stock from its 5-day low is up nearly 11%. So if you've been watching this channel, you guys know that AMD is one of my favorite positions in the semiconductor space, and AMD sitting at those 150s and 160s, especially the low 160s, I have said that I do believe it's a nice opportunity. As we can see, the overall market is now getting excited, and I believe AMD is going to do really well. It's not the next Nvidia. I don't believe it's going to give us returns like Nvidia, but it is going to give us better returns as they do have their own AI solutions, the MI300, 325, 350, and 400. The second stock that has done really well is ARM Holdings. ARM Holdings is up roughly 8% in the past 5 days. From its 5-day low, it's up nearly 16%, sitting at $181. And this is one of those stocks that, even though the stock price can continue to go up, and it kind of showcases that, hey, look, momentum can go one direction while things might look different. I think ARM is an overvalued monster, especially in the semiconductor space. Obviously, ARM has plenty of growth opportunities. I might be wrong, but this is one that I personally would not touch at any levels anywhere near where we're at right now. Even if this saw a nice haircut, I still think I would pass on it for some time. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you all next time.